game.
First pitch from Pickens. 75 miles an hour in there for strike one to Emma Shooter. 71 degrees at first pitch. We had a rain shower at the end of our first game between Virginia and Miami. That stopped right before the teams took the field. 0-2 to Shooter. There's heavy rain to our north, heavy rain to our south, brightening skies around here, but there are some passing showers. So we're going to be dodging raindrops here today, but for the moment, looking pretty good here at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium. 0-2. 1-2. Tennessee's last game, SEC Tournament quarterfinals at Auburn, lost 2-1 in the quarterfinal round to LSU. Foul tip off of Nugent by Shooter. We'll do the 1-2 again. So it's been a little bit of a wait since that game last Thursday for this Tennessee team to get back on the field as they step into NCAA play against Dayton. The 1-2. Pickens gets the strikeout to get things going here for Tennessee. Hard throwing righty with her 187th strikeout of the season.
She's going to work that drop ball to both sides of the plate, but you see the arm side run on this pitch. 75 miles per hour working down and away from the lefty slapper and Shooter. You can see she's feeling good with that velocity early in this ball game.
Kieran Bailey fouls it off for strike one. Bailey, the freshman shortstop from Blacklick, Ohio, first team all-conference in the A-10, all-rookie team as well. 302 this season, has some good speed as well. 0-2.
Makes it even tougher, I think, for these slappers going against the type of velocity that you see from Pickens, because as that pitch is coming in already at 75 miles per hour, they're moving through the box towards that pitch, making it seem like it's getting on them even faster than it is.
Back-to-back strikeouts to get things started for Pickens, 2 down.
Can see her continue to go away with that drop ball. Bailey right on that chalk line, trying to catch up with it just a bit too late, even choking up quite a bit on that bat too, just to shorten up that swing, find a way to put it in play.
Maddie Capsamala steps in, swing and a miss for strike one. As we mentioned, leading the team in homers and runs batted in, hitting .350 on the season. That's second on the team. First team all-conference selection in the A-10. Pickens bringing the heat here early, throwing strikes ahead in the count, 0-2. Just missed. That's the 11th pitch so far, Maddie. Just the second ball thrown by Carlin Pickens. 5 swing and miss for Dayton at the plate. Make it 6. Pickens starts things out by striking out the side for Tennessee. Carlin Pickens setting the tone, and Yufia Nugent. Zeta Pooney, who was up in the top third of the order for a while, moves down just a bit. This is a very good hitting team. 296 on the season, 77 home runs as Kiki Malloy takes strike one. One and one. Record-breaking, record-setting, you name it, Kiki Malloy has done it throughout her tremendous Tennessee career. It's 1-2.
Already seeing exactly what you're going to see from Dwyer in this at-bat to Kiki Malloy, starting her off with a screwball inside, goes away with the curveball, and then comes right back on the inside part of the plate with another one of those screwballs.
Malloy with a cue shot that almost for a second there looked like it was going to spin and hit the bag, but it's foul ball.
Molly Grace tried to run up in front of first base and try to get that one before it went foul. You can see just how deep this infield is playing against Malloy, especially now that she's got 2 strikes. second base, shortstop, and practically third base, all the way back on that grass.
Great start in the circle for Dwyer. She gets the strikeout, one away.
So far in this ball game, nothing but strikeouts that we've seen from both sides. Dwyer going with this curveball, using the fact that she steps across her body to get some extra bite on that curveball low and away to the righty Malloy. And what a great start in this ball game for Haven Dwyer.
Banel bunts it foul. Dayton is coached by Kara Clark in her 17th year at UD, 23rd overall, the A10 Coach of the Year for a second time, regular season champs for a second time. Followed that up with an A10 tourney title. Played in the Bronx at Fordham, knocked off UMass in game one. That's off the glove of the pitcher. Dwyer sticks with it, shovels it over to first for the out. Good play, 2 down.
As a pitcher, you know when your infielders are playing really deep behind you, and that means you've got to cover a lot of ground right around that pitcher circle. She's able to knock this one down to her left and does a nice job of staying with that one, and that nice shovel pass over to first base to get Panel for out number 2.
So Panel retired. Here is McKenna Gibson. Ball 1 to Gibson. 333 on the season, 40 runs batted in. Always has great power. Home run numbers down compared to last year. She had 15 a season ago, 7 this season. Two and 0. We mentioned Dayton's path through the A10 tournament, knocked off UMass, then beat Loyola Chicago 2-0 and St. Louis 3-0 in the championship game. So back-to-back shutouts for Kara Clark's team. She's getting the pitching, no question about it. Staff ERA 2.46 with 12 total shutouts coming into the NCAA tournament. Here's the 2-1 to Boo Gibson. It's 3-1. If you're new to a Tennessee game, you may hear boos, but it's a term of affection, not...
It's a nickname for McKenna Gibson.
That's what she prefers.
McKenna Boo Gibson.
The Locos will be the loudest in the building, as usual. That's ball 4. First base runner of the game is Boo Gibson. 2 down here in the first.
Talking to Coach Clark coming into this ball game, she said one of the goals for this team in order to be successful against Tennessee is they had to minimize the free passes given up, not give them any extra outs. You can see Dwyer trying to work the outside parts of the zone there to Boo Gibson, but just giving up that free pass to extend this inning after a really great start in those first 2 at-bats.
Here's Riley West, 6 of her last 14. Takes strike 1. Good year for West, 355 at the plate, double-digit home runs. Plays a solid left field as well. First team all-conference selection in the SEC. For the SEC Coach of the Year for a second straight time, Karen Wheatley. Down to the third base coach's box. Women's College World Series a season ago. After 51 wins, they followed that up with 40. And they hope counting here in the postseason. And West is going to call time. She's going to head not to the third base coach's dugout, but to Chris Malveaux, the hitting coach for Tennessee, for a little conversation.
Guarantee this is her relaying to Coach Malveaux exactly what she's seeing out of the hand of Haven Dwyer in the circle and what sorts of adjustments she needs to make to be able to make solid contact against that pitch. She's got some really great late bite on that curveball, diving down and away. And we've seen already a couple of these right-handed batters swinging and missing way outside of the zone on that pitch.
Dwyer, the junior from Cincinnati. Team leader in games started. This is number 17. Team leader in innings pitched. This is for ball 2. It's 2-2.
Dwyer likes to work pretty fast in the circle, too. You've seen a couple of times Riley West stepping into the box, trying to call time to give herself enough time to do her pre-pitch routine.
The
Gets in there quickly.
The pitch clock not a factor for Dwyer. Just getting a piece of it is West to stay alive. Papa Vasilio, the battery mate for Dwyer. Very balanced pitching staff for Dayton. Top 3 all going for better than 100 innings of work this year and 28 appearances. And how about this start? 2 strikes of the second inning. Another swing and a miss. In the first inning, 12 pitches for Pickens, 10 for strikes. Pounding the zone.
Go ahead and keep adding to that tally with the way that she's able to work that drop ball in there for strikes.
And the count 0-2.
Chloe Wong getting a piece of that one, seeing the ball incredibly well coming into this regional. Ended up with 6 hits in that A-10 tournament. She's somebody, too, that likes to adjust to where she places herself in the batter's box depending upon what the pitcher's throwing.
That's going to be a foul ball. That chalk line was any thicker, it'd probably roll back fair, but grounds crew keeping it nice and flat for Tennessee. We'll do the 0-2 again.
Gets a piece of this pitch outside. Definitely bounced in fair territory. Carlin Pickens thought for a second about picking it up, but very smart of her to read the spin off of the bat and let that one roll foul.
Another 0-2 to Wong. Another foul ball.
Seeing good adjustments here from Wong in this at-bat, making contact with that pitch outside.
Of course, a pair of aces for Tennessee. Pickens throws the heat. Gotchel, another ace, and this is what makes Tennessee so good.
You've got the heat from Pickens and the spin and command from Gotchel. So 2 completely different types of pitching that you're having to prepare for.
Wong puts it into play. Ground ball to Mealer at shorts. Wong is retired. 1 down.
Quality at bat right there for Chloe Wong. I know it's not the result that you want. It's not a line drive out to the gap. But making that adjustment with the timing to get something in play at 75 miles per hour, that's something that the rest of the team's going to try to learn from that she was able to gain in that at-bat.
Molly Grace steps in. So if you're Dayton, how do you prepare for 75 to 76 miles an hour?
Throughout the week, I would be cranking up those machines as fast as they could possibly go, even moving them to about 35 feet so that they're coming in even faster.
This is chopped to second. Moving back on it is Rodriguez. The throw over to Katsoyanopoulos at first. 2 away.
There's other things that you can do with your swing, too, whether it's choking up a little bit on the bat or shortening up your swing. You even saw in these at-bats now by Chloe Wong and by Molly Grace, shortening up their stride, too, getting that front foot down early, eliminating as much movement as possible in order to put the ball in play. You can see that average fastball velocity over 72 miles per hour consistently that you're seeing from Pickens.
How have you seen her change from freshman year to sophomore year?
The biggest thing that stands out is the command of all of her pitches. There were a couple of times last year where maybe that command got away from her, and so then the opponent would go up there and just force her to bring the ball in the strike zone or not even swing at all, and they would get a couple of free passes here and there, but they've made some mechanical tweaks with her standing up a bit taller throughout her delivery, and that has helped with her command and getting a bit more rotation on those drop balls down.
1-2, the count to Katie Rieg. Rieg trying to put it into play like Wong and Grace did before, but she cannot. 4th strikeout for Carlin Pickens. And that will do it to retire the side here in the second. Wasn't that long ago. Come on.
It's been a while.
It's the 10th anniversary of your last trip.
It's been more than a decade.
No, it's not yet quite a decade. It's 2014, right?
2013 was the last time.
Yes.
Yeah. So it has been more than a decade. Yeah. Well, just as you had my back, you went ahead and made me say the year.
I got what I wanted out of it, though. It really is remarkable when you think about the hope that so many teams have. You and I were in Oklahoma City for the Big 12 Tournament Championship last weekend when Texas, the number 1 seed, took on Oklahoma. Sophia Nugent hits it foul, and heading into that tournament, everybody's like, whoa, Oklahoma, maybe the door's open for the rest of us. And then Oklahoma goes out and impressively wins their 9th Big 12 tournament championship.
Yeah, Oklahoma had lost that last Big 12 series to Oklahoma State, and everybody had their eyes on that Bedlam matchup.
Nugent is retired. Great start for Haven Dwyer. Gets her 3rd strikeout, 1 away.
She's got some really late bite on this curveball, and you can see just how far out in front Tennessee is on their swings. That one looks a bit more like an off-speed there, but you notice the way that she's able to cut across her body and get that curveball or off-speed pitch to dive down and away from those right-handed batters. Having a hard time making decisions off of the pitches that she's bringing out there.
This one is hit deep to left. If it stays fair, it's gone, but it is hooking foul. Not much wind here to play with fly balls as Zeta Pooney, very strong hitter, hooks it just foul. 12 home runs on the season for the senior. .277 on the season for Zeta. Second team all-conference selection in the SEC. 2-1. The winner of this game to take on Virginia tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Loser will play in our first elimination game here in the Knoxville Regional, 3:30 Eastern time, Virginia. After their 7-0 win over Miami, the first team to shut out Miami this season.
A team that's averaging over 9 runs a game this season.
3-2 to Pooney.
Impressive outing for Virginia. Eden Bigham setting the tone early in that game too. 10 strikeouts against the Redhawks, shutting down that offense that's hit 159 home runs this season.
2 home runs in the game, both off the bats of Virginia players. As Pooney walks here in Knoxville in the 2nd inning.
Something similar to what we saw in the 1st inning. Ended up giving up that free pass to McKenna Gibson, but got the strikeout of Riley West right after that. That's the big thing. If you are going to give up those free passes, how do you respond? How do you try to get that very next batter out?
Here's Julia Kutsoyanopoulos. Pulls the barrel back for ball 1. Kutsoyanopoulos hitting well as of late, 400 in her last 10 games. That's best on the team, raising her average to 286 on the season.
You know, Eric, you brought that up to her yesterday when we were chatting with the Lady
it.
Volunteer. She had no idea that those were her numbers in the past 10 games.
What is it with you softball players? I was trying to compliment her for being on this hot streak, and her reaction was, why did you have to tell me?
No one ever likes to look at the numbers.
I'm going to ruin it.
You know, softball players do not like to look at the numbers. We don't want to know. We just want to know how it feels when we're up there.
2-1 the count now to Kutsoyanopoulos. Off the glove of the pitcher, sticks with it, doesn't have a play. 2 on, 1 out for Tennessee here in the 2nd.
Coach Kara Clark told us what she likes about Haven Dwyer in the circle is she's going to induce a lot of weak contact, and that's what we've seen early in this ball game against Tennessee. This one, another one hit off of the end of the bat. It just skips away from her in the circle. Tough break there after getting that miss hit right back to her, just not able to come up with that one cleanly to get the out at first.
It will be scored an error on the pitcher. '62nd error charged to the Flyers this season. And here is Destiny Rodriguez. Rodriguez hits one deep to left. It is carrying, and it is gone. 3-run home run, Destiny Rodriguez, her 6th of the season, and Tennessee's on top in the 2nd.
To start off this ball game, Tennessee had struggled to adjust to the pitches that Dwyer was bringing out there, especially the curveballs away, and Destiny Rodriguez sets up with her toes on that chalk line, challenging Dwyer to bring the ball on the inside part of the plate. She throws a screwball, and Destiny Rodriguez is perfectly on time for it, sending it out to left field.
Oh, you got to slam on the brakes.
Oh, did she overrun her? It looks like she did.
I think she did.
It looked like
you
it
saw
from
the
that
base
angle.
runner.
It says she rounded first base. It's an unfortunate run taken off of the board for Tennessee.
Instead of a 3-run home run, it's a 2-run home run because, as you heard Drum's announcement, the umpire's the one saw it on the field, and as a result, runner is out, and it's 2-0 Tennessee. 1-1 to Laura Mueller. You were broadcasting Arkansas, Alabama this season, and it was not called on the field, and you found out because you had to. It's not something you see every day, but now you've seen it twice in the games you've done this season when the batter passed the runner. It wasn't called in that game, but it's called here today.
And it's not on the list of reviewable plays, and that's why it's not able to be reviewed. And so because the difference that I'm seeing between that Arkansas and Alabama game and this game that we're seeing here, like you mentioned, because it was called on the field that the batter overran the runner, that's the difference. They can still change the call on the field as long as the umpires are the ones coming together and making that call, but they can't go to the video review in order to try to change the call on the field.
One thing that's different with the NCAA tournament, there are 4 umpires on the field. There's 1 at each base, so there's an extra set of eyes out there. In the regular season, there'll be 2 base umpires and a plate umpire, so umpiring crew right on top of it, but that extra set of eyes helping, and in this case, it helps Dayton have a run off the board.
And having the extra umpires, too, helps with the mechanical shifts when a ball is put into play so that everybody can have eyes on the particular bases and they're not having to worry about going to a different position on the field.
Mueller, grounded foul. Wide of third. I'm always thankful when you're my analyst. Extra thankful today because you had to deal with that exact situation. So we were prepared for it because you're here.
I will say I haven't seen that in, the past 5 years, and now we've seen it twice in the same season.
Another one, chop foul.
Great call by the umpiring crew, though, to get together on the field after they let that one play out, but to come together, have a conversation, and get the call right on the field.
Because you cannot, as you mentioned, go to the monitor. You have to do that in real time. If they missed it, Dayton couldn't appeal that and say, well, wait a minute, they passed. No, you have to catch it.
Good catch by the coaching staff for Dayton, too. You could see them in the background of that shot. It looked like Brittany Duncan immediately pointing and saying that that batter had overrun the runner.
It's hard to say who's at fault in that case. Obviously, you've got the batter, Rodriguez, who's watching to see if it goes and just naturally goes by first. At the end of the day, it's up to you as the runner to keep an eye on who's in front of you, but it's just softball nature just to watch it fly. And this is Malloy lifting a pop fly to the outfield grass. Step onto the grass is Capsamalis.
Home run.
You mean passing?
Yeah, but passing the runner, so maybe you just get points for
this is shot down the line. There's the first hit of the game. Papa Vasilio comes through with a leadoff single against Pickens.
You saw them making the adjustments back in the second inning, just doing little things here and there, putting their foot down early, choking up on the bat to get on time for these pitches from Pickens. And Papa Vasilio smokes that one straight down that right field line. What a great way to get things started for the Flyers here in the top of the third inning.
Chopped at the plate by Kayleen Walter for strike one. Walter, 243 on the season from Vista, California. Spent a couple of years at Iona in the MAC. This is to deep short. This is going to be a base hit. Mueller has to hold on to it. And back to your point, that first inning, a lot of swing and miss, 3 strikeouts, but since then, contact, putting the ball in play. Now back-to-back hits for the Flyers.
And the at-bat that sticks out to me is the Chloe Wong at-bat to start off the second inning. She fouled off a couple of pitches, really battled, was the first one to find a way to put the ball in play, and now you've seen them capitalize on that. Another key for Coach Clark that she said for her team is just to string together those quality at-bats, and oftentimes quality at-bats mean just executing the game plan, not necessarily getting a hit every single time, but more times than not, you'll end up getting the results that you want as a team if you're able to get those quality at-bats.
O'Donnell will run for Papa Vasilio. Nora, the freshman, makes her NCAA tournament debut as a pinch runner. Here's the number 9 hitter, Daniel. Good hitter, 312 on the season, great speed. She'll look to sacrifice. Strike one. You mentioned Dayton using small ball, using their speed, trying to put pressure on the defense. Great opportunity here with Daniel, number 9 hitter. All-time stolen base leader for Dayton, so she's got some speed. Trying to sacrifice, cannot. Down in the count 0-2.
Daniel's been one of those players that really thrives in that 9 spot, batting .312 on the season, but well over a 400 on base percentage, has upped her run production for the Flyers this year. Just 7 RBIs last season, up to 26 RBIs this year.
Strikeout for Pickens, that's her 5th, 1 away.
After working ahead in the count there, goes back to that drop ball down in the way from the slapper, Daniel. Big strikeout just after the Flyers started to get a lot of momentum in this inning, stringing together a couple of hits. A strikeout there gives it back to Pickens.
Top of the order for Emma Shooter, who takes ball 1. Shooter struck out in the first for the Flyers on a 10-game hitting streak. Team high 57 hits on the season. Chance here for Dayton to get on the board. 1-1. Just want to tie up the scoring last inning. When Rodriguez passed Katsoyanopoulos, we said, well, it's hard to find fault. The fault is with the batter because the batter passed the runner. And as a result, it's not a home run for Rodriguez. It goes in the books as a single and a couple of RBIs. As she's the one who's retired for passing the runner.
Well, to tie up my thought on the Athletes Unlimited point system, you get 40 points for the home run, but with the single, you'd get 10 points and then additional points for the runs batted in.
What are the deductions for passing a base runner?
I don't think you get any deductions for that. You just don't get the additional 30 points for the home run, just the 10 for the base hit.
1-2 the count to Shooter. Tried to check it, did not. Back-to-back strikeouts for Pickens, 2 away.
We saw Shooter slap in her last at-bat, but she tried to make the adjustment just swinging away here, and she's not able to hold up on this swing. Not by much, but did end up swinging on that. Another strikeout for Pickens with a runner in scoring position.
Bailey taps it foul for strike 1.
Home plate umpire coming out there. I wonder if he's saying that she was out of the box when she made contact.
I think the second base umpire was involved in that as well.
You'll see the slappers cross over with that left foot, that back foot, and it has to remain completely inside the chalk lines. Now, if you have less than 2 strikes, it just goes down as a strike when you make contact. But if you have 2 strikes and you make contact, then it's an out.
Shortstop Mueller will go to the bag. Heads up play to get the force play. What's it been like for you and your players to be in the NCAA tournament for the first time?
Hey, yeah, we're just happy to be here and represent the A-10, represent our fine university, and give these young women a wonderful experience.
Coach Clark, looking at your offense, when we spoke yesterday, you said that you wanted to see quality balls put in play and pass the bat, and I felt that in the second inning, your offense made some great adjustments, putting the ball in play, a couple of base hits in the third inning. What do you need to do moving forward to get some runs on the board?
Hey, we're doing a good job of just getting on time early in this game, and just like you said, we're trying to pass the bat and move some people around. We're one pitch away from squaring something up and putting a number on the board, so I like where we're at.
Kara, thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you
for everything this season so far. There is Kara Clark. And there is her starting pitcher. Haven Dwyer gave up a couple of runs in the second. Should have been 3, but a base running error by Tennessee, resulting in just 2 runs. Panel to lead off for the Lady Vols here in the third. Pulled the bat back, ball 1. Panel moving up in the lineup, now hitting second. Real good in SEC play this year. First team all-conference selection, 305 at the plate, heading into the postseason. Heading into the NCAA postseason, I should say. Bunted foul, and it's 1-2. Tennessee overall the number 3 seed in the tournament, the highest seeding in program history. Been consistently good all season long. Karen Weekly's team, good at the plate, excellent in the circle with the Pickens-Gottschall combination. That misses for a ball, 2-2. Playing in a conference that sent all 13 teams to the NCAA tournament.
It was interesting talking to Coach Weekly and some of the players yesterday just about how they were not pleased with that early exit in the SEC tournament.
Popped up, the pitcher grabs it, and Panel's retired for out number 1. Don't miss a minute of the action from the NCAA Softball Regionals. We'll take you to the best live action on the 7 Innings live show on the ESPN app. You can see every game, every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN networks. They had you up to date on Virginia knocking off Miami earlier today. 7-0 the final. Cavaliers pick up the win. They'll take on the winner of this game 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Joe Harden's team. Very impressive. Great bounce back performance for Virginia because they lost their only game in the ACC tournament after finishing 4th. Clemson beat them 8-1, but really, that's what stood out about that game. Virginia beat themselves. They did not do that today here against Miami. They were very tight and on their game here in the NCAA tournament.
Now, that game in the ACC tournament, a lot of free passes given up, some errors made in the field, too, that led to Clemson coming out on top. And they had a few days to get back and try to regroup after that, and they came out absolutely on fire from the first at-bat of the ball game.
McKenna Gibson gets a base hit. Good effort by Bailey at short, just couldn't reach it. And Boo Gibson is aboard with 1 down here in the third. I think it's familiar territory for Tennessee as well as you take a look at that base hit. It wasn't a blowout loss to LSU, but the regular season champions lost to LSU in the SEC tournament down at Auburn. 1 and done. You feel bad about it. You want to win a tournament championship for a second straight year, but you also get that chance. I think Karen Weekly referenced it when we chatted with her yesterday. You get a little extra time to reset. Not the worst thing in the world just to try to get your mind back to where it needs to be. That's tap foul.
The biggest focus for Tennessee, because even in that loss to LSU, they threw both Pickens and Gottschall. They ended up only giving up 2 runs to LSU, but really it was focusing on their offense and their offense's ability to consistently execute a game plan. That's something that she was not happy with in that SEC tournament game, and there have been a handful of games, I would say, throughout the regular season for Tennessee where their offense really hasn't committed to that game plan consistently, 1 through 9. But she said they got in some great practices this week, and she felt like they had made some strides offensively coming into this regional weekend.
When you lose in your conference tournament and you have a spot in the NCAA tournament, your season isn't over. West grounded to short, throwing on the run, and in time for the out is Bailey. Riley West retired, 2 down. Good play by Dwyer to pull that glove back instead of trying to play it, because I don't think she would have made the out.
Now with a pitcher moving to her right and having to throw across her body, I don't think she would have been able to make that out across the diamond either, but a really solid play by Kieran Bailey coming up on the run, throwing that one on the run to get out number 2.
Here's Sophia Nugent, struck out her first time. That's ball 1. When you get to the NCAA tournament, after you get knocked out of your conference tournament, you get 1 strike. You can afford to lose 1 game in the regional round, but then your backs are against the wall. That's where Miami will be tomorrow, and the loser of this game will be tomorrow. You're facing elimination. So then the intensity changes quite a bit.
That's where the pressure starts to build up, because you're starting to feel that if you don't do this or if you don't do that, your season could come to an end. So all of those extra feelings going into an elimination game come into play. They got a little bit of a taste.
It's regional time. We're ready for a long day, long, exciting day. They'll be facing elimination tomorrow. And you know, Miami, as you just mentioned, things changed a little bit. Well, this could be the last time doing this, and for that team with all that pop to be shut out, you know they can't wait to get on the field tomorrow and turn the page and try to make a late run here in the NCAA tournament, facing elimination after game number 1. 2-2. Count goes full to Sophia Nugent. Nugent is fit right in for this Tennessee team after transferring over from Oklahoma. Had 18 starts last season for the national champs. Had 7 home runs. Second team all-conference in the SEC in her first year in this conference. That's out of play. Shoring up a position that was filled by Julia Katsoyanopoulos last year. Not a natural catcher, but had never really caught.
For first time ever.
Turned into a catcher for Tennessee last year.
Helping catcher too.
To get to OKC. 8th pitch to Nugent. That's out of play. We'll need a 9th. Tennessee has been excellent here on their home field. They've won 25 of their last 27 games at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium. Those 2 losses coming this year, Georgia and LSU. Hosting a regional for a 19th consecutive tournament. Nugent lays off. Ball 4, 2 on, with 2 down here in the 3rd for Tennessee.
Quality at bat by Sophia Nugent and some really good pitches thrown, and that at bat by Haven Dwyer goes back to that curveball, just barely misses off the end of the plate. And she's induced a lot of weak contact. The hardest hit ball was the home run that ultimately ends up going down as a single for Destiny Rodriguez. Everything else has been hit off the end of the bat.
This is off the end of the bat, and getting the tag at second base is Capsamalis at Dayton and a regular season championship. Top of the 4th, Dayton hanging tough against Carlin Pickens, pitcher of the year in the SEC. Pickens has been efficient, 12-pitch first inning, 11-pitch second inning, 13-pitch third inning, and it's been a lot of swing and miss. Well, you pointed out, and you talked about it with Kara Clark, Chloe Wong's at-bat leading off the second inning kind of turned things around a little bit, had a good at-bat, put the ball in play, and we've seen some good contact, or at least the ball been put in play here for Dayton against Pickens.
It's not easy to be able to catch up to 74, 75 mile per hour pitches, especially when you're facing somebody like Pickens that brings the velocity and has the movement to go along with it. But you're seeing Dayton continue to chip away even some of these foul balls. You can tell that they're making intentional adjustments to get on time. And especially going through the order the second time around, doing whatever they can to finally get on time for some of those pitches. And we've gone now 3 innings in this ball game, and Pickens hasn't thrown the off-speed pitch, and they're starting to time up.
Capsamalis, gloved by Mueller at short, turns, throws, in time, one away. I'll turn it over to the All-American shortstop to break this one down because her smile is wide on this play.
It's all about the first step for Laura Mueller. She does a little bit of a hop as that pitch is on its way to the plate, and then as soon as she sees it put in play, immediately turns towards center field, gets this one reaching out, stays on her feet. The spin move to know where you're at to make a good throw over to first base. The level of difficulty on that play is extreme, and she is able to make that one look very easy for a ball off the bat I thought was going to be a base hit all the way, and she just robs Capsamalis of a base hit.
Fouled off by Chloe Wong. Down on the count 0-2. Yeah, you see a spin like that, you'd expect anybody to fall down, but shortstops, they never fall down. They're always in position. And
cat-like, we land on our feet, right?
Yes. Wong fooled on that pitch. Strikeout number 7 for Pickens, 2 down.
You can tell that Pickens is starting to pick up on the fact that they're getting on time for that pitch. That was the first changeup that we've seen out of the hand of Carlin Pickens, and we figured you weren't going to see her bust that out until she started to get the sense that they're timing up the 74-mile-per-hour pitch, and she busts in the 64-mile-an-hour changeup there.
Here's Molly Grace. Normally, you would hear 64 miles an hour. That is a pretty normal fastball speed. But when you have that separation from 74 to 64, 64 looks like 34 comparatively.
And a lot of it has to do with the decision-making up at the plate.
This is chopped to Mueller on the short hop. Makes it look easy. A couple of really nice plays in the field by focused on to get ready for the NCAA tournament and what you hope is a deep run again.
You know, remembering who we are, remembering what we've done this year, and we've earned the right to have the kind of confidence we should have coming into postseason. That doesn't mean we're going to rest on our laurels, but the first thing we have to do is, wipe away that loss against LSU and just get ready to play regionals. It's a brand new season.
Coach, looking at this ball game and your offense specifically, Haven Dwyer spinning it pretty well out there in the circle. What sorts of adjustments do you want to see from your offense to make consistent hard contact?
Well, you've got a better view than I do, but where I'm standing, it looks like we're swinging at some things that maybe aren't the best pitch to swing at, getting in 2-strike counts and doing a little bit of chasing, and even before that, not making the pitcher give us a better pitch that we can drive. So that's what I'd like to see us do.
All right, Karen, we'll watch for it ourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank
we
you.
Appreciate it. All right, she says you have a better view than she does. What do you think of her viewpoint? Does it agree with yours?
I think it's a combination of two things. I think that the curveball from Dwyer has some great late bite to it, so as a batter, you think it's going to stay in that strike zone. You're looking at a pitch maybe on the outer half, so you go after it, and by the time you swing, it's breaking an additional 6 inches away from the barrel, and that's why we're seeing it hit so consistently off the end of the bat of these righties for Tennessee. But also for them trying to make sure that they're seeing the ball in deep, too. Throwing the ball in the upper 50s into the low 60s. You're seeing them make very quick swing decisions, which also could lead to the weak contact that Dwyer's been able to induce.
So give credit to Dwyer. Because she has that late movement, Tennessee quite often has swung at pitches out of the strike zone, but they were in the zone for half the journey to the plate, but that late movement has been really noticeable.
And she's been bouncing back and forth inside and outside.
Katsoyanopoulos bunts it foul. It's 1-2.
She's not staying in the same spot for too many pitches in a row to where Tennessee's been able to make that adjustment within the at-bat, but she's bouncing back and forth between screwballs and curveballs and the occasional off-speed pitch that she's throwing in there as well.
Katsoyanopoulos down to the count 1-2. I heard no. Was that Julia saying no, making the call at the plate? I think it was. Former catcher.
We did learn talking to her yesterday that she is very vocal down there on the field. Of course, we know that from her time back behind the plate and now playing first base.
This is a fly ball to shallow right field. Walter has it, 1 away. So Destiny Rodriguez comes to the plate. In her first at-bat, she hit what looked to be her 6th home run of the season. It cleared the fence, but the problem was Rodriguez passed Katsoyanopoulos on the bases.
Just that miscue base running as Rodriguez overruns Katsoyanopoulos at first base, who is going back to tag. Rodriguez is watching the ball leave the yard. The hardest hit ball that we've seen in this ball game. And it unfortunately gets wiped off of the board. Just a single and 2 runs across rather than the home run and the 3-run shot.
So Rodriguez is 1 for 1. It's a single instead of a home run. 2-1. This is a solid shot into the glove of Chloe Wong, ranging to her left, 2 away. So Laura Mueller will come to the plate. We'll see what she can do with the bat. We know what she can do with the glove and the arm.
She's made some great plays defensively, and the thing that stands out to me about Laura Mueller is how easy she makes these difficult plays look, moving to her right, moving up the middle to her left with the spin move and the throw over to first base. She's already shown us in this ballgame alone the range that she brings over in that shortstop position.
Mueller's first year with Tennessee after transferring from Middle Tennessee, but she has NCAA tournament experience. Last year, playing for MTSU in the Tuscaloosa Regional, all-tournament team selection. She was 7 of 16 in the series with a couple of home runs at the Rhodes House. One to Mueller, who walked her first time. Correction, 2-1. Ball 3. Mueller walks for a second time.
Even the times that Haven Dwyer has given up a free pass today, seems like it's been fairly close to the strike zone, and after that last free pass, had the A10 with that ERA this season, 133 strikeouts. You're going to see her bring the velocity up just a bit from what we saw from Haven Dwyer. Low to mid-60s, primarily going to work up in the zone, has that combination of a curveball, screwball, and a rise ball, but going to change the eye level that Tennessee has seen so far in this ball game.
As Maddie mentioned, staff leader in earned run average. Opponents hitting 173 against the sophomore this season. That's also best on the staff. Second team all-conference in the A10. Had a save in the A10 tournament. That came in the championship game against St. Louis. Her first assignment, retire Kiki Malloy, who was 0 for 2 against Dwyer today. I want to see if she made a swing. The appeal says she checked her swing. It's ball 1. Malloy struck out in the first, popped out in the second. This is a hard hit right at the left fielder, Daniel, who goes down to a knee to haul it in to retire the side. Malloy hit it
in this ball game, and you're starting to see their offense chip away with the adjustments against Carlin Pickens in the circle, and just the one swing for Tennessee, the hard hit shot off of the bat of Destiny Rodriguez gave them a couple of runs.
Pickens has thrown strikes. We're working in the 5th inning, just 47 pitches thrown by Pickens, and the count 0-2 to Katie Rieg. Rieg struck out back in the second. Skipped up there for a ball. It's 1-2. Carlin Pickens 19-6 entering the NCAA tournament, a 1.26 earned run average. Gets a strikeout. That's number 8, and that is strikeout number 194 on the season. One away.
You'll see her work this drop ball to both sides of the plate, and this at-bat to Katie Rieg ends up going back with the drop ball low and inside. Got some great arm side run to that pitch. Racking up the strikeouts so far, 8, as you mentioned, Eric, today.
Nico Papavasilio steps in. Hard hit, one hop to Rodriguez, 2 down.
A couple of hard hit balls off the bat of Nico Papavasilio, both to the right side. That one hit straight to Destiny Rodriguez at second base. Almost looked like a bit of an off-speed there, coming in at 66 miles per hour, but she squared it up.
Kayleen Walter has one of the 2 hits against Pickens today. Squib foul. The 0-1 from Pickens. 0-2. Dayton winners in 15 of their last 17 games, including the A-10 tourney title, but running into the hard-throwing Carlin Pickens, who is piling up the strikeouts.
Score any runs.
First pitch is a solid single off the bat of Taylor Panel to get things started for Tennessee here in the 5th.
2 swings from Tennessee that we've seen since the Flyers made the pitching change in the circle to Izzy Kemp. Both of them hard hit line drives off of the bat. Kiki Malloy hit one straight to left field in her last at bat, and now Taylor Panel starting off this inning with a single right back up the middle.
Here is Boo Gibson. Ball 1. Gibson walked in the first, singled in the third. Two and 0.
Kemp trying to work that curveball outside to Gibson, not missing by much there. It's a tough spot not to get called, especially to somebody like Boo Gibson, who has such good plate coverage across the zone.
Three and 0. Gibson taking for strike 1, 3 and 1.
Go, Boo!
Gibson's aboard. Looking back through the scorecard, Maddie, Panel with her base hit, she's the first leadoff to reach base for Tennessee here today. Dayton's done a good job of getting that first out, but now facing some pressure here, 2 on with nobody out in the 5th inning.
And having to deal with the middle half of this Tennessee offense too, and it seems like they've been able to make very quick adjustments to the switch and Izzy Kemp in the circle. We really did not see a ton of hard contact off of Haven Dwyer, who started off this ball game for the Flyers.
Here is Riley West. Cleanup hitter squaring to bunt, looking to sacrifice, pulls the bat back.
It's a close ball game here to the Flyers. You're trying to do whatever you can to move both of those runners over into scoring position, especially since we haven't seen those consistent quality at-bats from Tennessee in this ball game.
West with the bunt. Sacrifice is successful, and getting the tag on West was the first baseman, Grace, one away, but taking second is the pinch runner, Amanda Allin, and on to third is Panel.
Successful sacrifice bunt by Riley West. You could see that Molly Grace was playing back behind first base, so Izzy Kemp has to cover in front of the plate, and a nice tag by Molly Grace after that throw was a bit offline, coming off of first base and making sure she got that sure out at first base.
Sophia Nugent with one down and two on. Ball one. First time for Nugent facing Kemp. Struck out against Dwyer in the second, walked in the third. That's out of play. It's 1-1. It's the first time this year that Dayton has faced a ranked opponent. They faced Kentucky out of the SEC, Indiana out of the Big Ten when they were both receiving votes in the polls. That's on a play. I would say Dayton has more than held their own against one of the various top teams in the country here on Tennessee's home field on day one of the NCAA tournament.
And one of their strengths coming into this regional was the way that they like to utilize their pitching staff. They don't just rely on one arm, but they're going to throw a variety of different arms. All three of the pitchers that they throw for the most part have really good season ERAs. Between Haven Dwyer that we saw to start this ball game, now we're seeing Izzy Kemp. And Sarah Baylitz, another one that they like to roll out there as well. Those three match up very well with each other, complement each other well, trying to keep these offenses off balance.
Another 1-2 to Nugent. Solid single to left field. One run is in, Allin being held at third, and Tennessee on top 3-0 here in the fifth. RBI 34 on the season for Nugent.
You can see throughout this at-bat, Nugent fouling off a bunch of pitches, gets sawed off on this one, but strong enough to lift that one out into left field to score another run. Taylor Panel going to score easily on that base hit to left.
Nugent had a long at-bat, her second plate appearance when she walked on 9 pitches, battled up against Kemp here in the fifth to get the RBI single. Here's Zeta Pooney with runners on the corners. Strike one. The runner leaving first, trying to see what Dayton will do with it, and retreating back to first is Nugent, as Allin wasn't going anywhere. Pooney 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Popped up left side. Don't know if there's going to be enough room. There definitely will not be enough room, and that's up in the stands. Pooney down the count 0-2. Zeta 354 with runners in scoring position. 277 overall in the season. This is where she shined.
Pooney had that off-season shoulder surgery, and it felt like right at the beginning of SEC play was when she started to feel like herself back at the plate. And Coach Karen Weekly has talked to us about this for several seasons now, just how high of a ceiling Zeta Pooney has offensively for this team.
Popped up, right side of the infield. Capsamalice has it, 2 down.
Izzy Kemp decides to go with that off-speed pitch there, and Pooney way out in front on that swing. An easy out, number 2 for the Flyers.
Katsoinopoulos is 0 for 2, reached on an error and scored in the second. fly to right in the fourth. As the sun begins to shine for the first time in this game. Rain started just after game one ended between Virginia and Miami. It was raining while they were prepping the field for game two, but there was no delay before this game started. Rain stopped before first pitch. 1-1.
I don't think we saw much sunshine even in game one either. This might be the first time in the entire day that we're seeing the beautiful sunshine.
And it lasted for about 6 seconds.
And it's gone, right? As we finish talking about it, there goes the sunshine.
Come on, G-Money.
Popped up. This will be playable. Molly Grace, foul ground to retire the side. Tennessee adds to their lead. Lady Vols on top 3-0 after 5 hits.
We even got us some tattoos as well,
Yeah.
so don't be surprised
Are you
if
wearing
you
it?
see us throughout the regional pop out with some buffalo tattoos. We have seen some butterfly tattoos too,
yeah,
so the
I
butterfly
must-
was the theme for last year.
Yeah, I must point out it's a temporary tattoo. Although there could be a player with a permanent tattoo. They may like the theme so much that they're like, I'm all in on it. But these are just temporary. They wash off, you know. So facing a bit of a storm here in Knoxville. Carlin Pickens throwing 75 miles an hour. Tennessee on top 3-0 here in game number 1 of the NCAA tournament for Emily Daniel and her Dayton teammates. I'm impressed with the level of dedication by Dayton and head coach Kara Clark to get these little buffalo, I don't want to call it a stress ball. It's a stress buffalo.
We did hear that she was adamant about getting the logo on there.
Yes, the Flyers logo is on the hindquarters of the buffalo.
But a theme for every year. Last year was the butterfly, because the butterfly has to go through that little bit of adversity coming through the cocoon before it can emerge as a beautiful butterfly. So you'll see some players with some butterfly temporary tattoos as well. I think you call them
Buffalo
the,
is
the,
work-
the butterflyers.
The Butterflyers, yes. I'm available for all marketing ideas as long as I get a cut on it. I think the Buffalo theme is working out a little bit better because they're in the NCAA tournament for the first time. Although they were close a season ago, Maddie. They had 35 wins last year. They were 15-7 in the A-10, finished third in the conference. This year won the tournament to get the automatic bid. Mealer, rare mistake for her today, popped out of her glove. And Dayton has a base runner here in the top half of the 6th inning as Shooter is aboard for the first time.
We talked about it in her last at-bat, but the first at-bat she tried to slap, ended up striking out against Pickens, and then she's gone to swinging away, just something else that she can do to get on time. This one's hit pretty solid off of the bat of Shooter, but it looked like Laura Mealer was trying to throw that ball before she had complete possession of that softball, and because of her head coming up just a little bit is what allows Shooter to reach base safely.
Ball 1 to Bailey, who's 0 for 2 today. The 2 hits today for Dayton coming in the bottom third of the order. Papa Vasilio and Walter back-to-back in the 3rd inning. Pickens had retired 10 in a row before that error. Good pick at second base by Rodriguez to get Shooter caught stealing. Shooter's hanging around on the base. Think they may go to replay here. For the moment, 2 down.
Good snap throw out of the hand of Sophia Nugent, and a great pick by Destiny Rodriguez at second base, who is shifted up towards the middle to cover second on the steal. Picks it out of the dirt, immediately applies the tag as Shooter dives into second base.
Now, Kara Clark went to our plate umpire first. That's Gil Zayas, and now going to the second base umpire who made the call where the tag was. This could all be part of just waiting for a signal from somewhere like, should I challenge this? And they will challenge it. Why not?
At second base is being reviewed by Dayton. The play is under review.
So once again, if you weren't with us earlier, as you take a look at the replay, these are the views that the replay center in Pittsburgh will have as they are handling the challenges. Now, I do think it's interesting because, Madison, as Rodriguez made that pick, of course, when you make a pick, the natural motion is for the glove to come up, and in the time for it to come down, did the base runner get the hand in there is the question.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at here, is to see if Emma Shooter's right hand makes it into the base before Destiny Rodriguez comes back down with that tag. Because you're right, Eric, because of that pick, she had to bring the glove up and then apply it back down.
All right, we're making the image a little bigger here. Zooming in a little bit. Now, it's going to be hard to see here as the tag comes down. It is on the elbow, close to the shoulder, so you see that a little bit, Madison. You're like, well, there's a chance because could that right hand slide in there? It looks like maybe that right hand does slide in, but I'm going to say that when I throw out words like maybe or looks like, that's not enough to overturn it.
They're looking for that indisputable video evidence to change what was the call on the field, and the call on the field was out. So that's an important thing to note, too, is that they're looking for that indisputable video evidence to change the call to safe. And to your point, Eric, I don't know if we're seeing enough here to change the call on the field.
Same thing would happen if it was reversed. If it was called safe and Tennessee challenged it, it probably would be upheld as a safe call, as the umpiring crew, half on the headset, half still on the field, in communication with the replay center in Pittsburgh as they continue to take a look.
I just don't think there's enough video evidence to change here. I'd imagine that it's going to just they're going to uphold the call after the views that we've seen.
Good pick and tag by Destiny Rodriguez. Will it hold is the question. The announcement from Chris Drum.
The out at second is upheld. The runner is out.
I think that's the right call from the views that we saw. Very close, too, because Rodriguez had to come up. But a very nicely executed defensive play by Tennessee. The quick snap throw down. Emma Shooter very fast on the base paths, has 26 stolen bases on the season. But the tag and the positioning of Rodriguez at second base is what got them that out.
Caught stealing for just the fourth time this year as Sophia Nugent throws her out. Base is empty, 2 down, 1-0 the count to Bailey. 2-1 the count. Did she offer? Yes, 2-2.
Taking a look at the side swing here. Ooh, that was close.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 11 for Carlin Pickens. Here's Rodriguez, who hit the home run that wasn't in the second inning, lined out in the fourth inning. Takes ball one from Izzy Kemp.
Leading off second baseman number 34, Destiny Rodriguez.
One. You've seen the scores rolling by upper right-hand portion of your screen. Few regions changed their start time, so there are more scores in than what we had expected before the day started. They moved things up in Baton Rouge, in Athens, and Lafayette because of weather. Rodriguez lifts one to center field. Shooter, one down. I think one of the more surprising results so far comes from the Rhodes House, Southeast Louisiana, knocking off Clemson 6-2 in game one in Tuscaloosa. Alabama, USC Upstate meeting in game number 2.
Never know what you're going to get when these regional weekends comes around. That's what makes it so exciting. It does not matter what you did in the regular season once you get to this point. It's just finding a way to survive and advance to the next day.
South Carolina in Durham with a 2-1 win over Utah. Of course, Utah made a run to the Pac-12 title game before falling to UCLA. Southern Illinois with a 5-4 win over Cal out of the Pac-12. Earlier today here in Knoxville, it was a 7-0 victory for Virginia over Miami. I think that's a surprising result when people are looking at how things would play out in day one, that Virginia would shut out a Miami team that was averaging 9 runs a game entering the NCAA tournament. Virginia just played great in all facets, had a couple of home runs, and become the first team to shut out Miami this season. Popped up on the right side. Mueller is retired. 0 for 2. Kiki Malloy coming to the plate. The All-American had a little chat. Her first pitch to Kiki Malloy. Strike one. Malloy struck out in the first, popped out in the second, lined out in the fourth. She checked the swing. It's 1-1. Of course, the catcher, Nico Papavasilio, we talked to her yesterday, and she had plenty of great things to say about the pitcher in the circle right now. Called her one of a kind, so passionate as well in the circle. And the count 1-2.
We got to talk to her really about managing all the different pitchers that they have on this staff, because we talk about it from an offensive standpoint, how difficult it can be to make those in-game adjustments, but you think about it from a catcher perspective too, having to catch a variety of different pitches all within the same game, and also keeping track of the batter's tendencies, what sort of adjustments they're trying to make to the pitching, and keeping up with that constant communication.
Pulls the string, gets Malloy on the strikeout, and you see a little of that passion from Sarah Baylitz
behind her. But I definitely imagine that offensively, Coach Karen Weekly is going to want to see more of that consistency that we've seen from Tennessee throughout this season. Was not able to make that hard quality contact throughout this ball game. And a lot of it has to do with the pitching that you saw from Dayton too. We've really seen outstanding pitching on both sides of the ball in today's ball game.
There's a strike. Maddie Capsamalis 0 for 2 against Pickens today. Struck out in the first, was robbed of a hit in the fourth by Mueller at short. Well, with the way Pickens has pitched and thrown strikes all game long, 1 run is plenty, let alone 3 runs. Two-1. Chop to Mueller on the short hop, throws on the run, 1 away.
And right on cue, just as we were talking about the solid defense behind Pickens, Laura Mueller with another great play at shortstop. Love the aggressiveness that you see from her defensively too, coming up to get these balls on the short hop, throwing them on the run, not even giving them a chance to take a funky hop on her.
Chloe Wong's 0 for 2.
We saw Dayton make some good adjustments up at the plate too, finding a way to put the ball in play, try to time up the velocity, and I think it all stemmed from the at-bat that we saw from Chloe Wong back in the second inning.
0-2.
Because of her at-bat, she's seen the most off-speed pitches out of the hand of Pickens in today's ball game.
Chop to second, Rodriguez on the first, 2 down.
Up next for Dayton, first baseman number 22, Molly Gray.
Tennessee fans coming to their feet here at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium. Dayton down to their final out. Here's Molly Grace, a couple of ground outs against Pickens today. One and two. Grace grounded to second in the second, grounded to short in the fourth. In the dirt, swung on and missed. Nugent on to first to end the ball game. 12 strikeouts for Carlin Pickens. It's her 11th shutout of the season. Tennessee wins it 3-0.
First pitch for game 3 will be approximately 1 p.m. tomorrow for Virginia takes on Tennessee. Approximately 35 minutes after game 3, game 4 will be a matchup.
They've been so good at home, and Pickens getting the start here today, and she was dominant right from the start. Maddie Shipman struck out the side in the first. Off to a great start. How important was it to you just to throw strikes and pound the strike zone right from the very start today?
Yeah, just setting the tone, letting the offense, get a chance to score some runs, just doing my job out there.
And Carlin, outside of the 12 strikeouts that you racked up today, how big is it to have the defense play the way that they did behind you? Laura Mueller made some great plays at shortstop today.
Yeah, it just gives me the utmost confidence to be able to throw my pitches. Laura was a beast out there. Just nothing could get by her. And just knowing that we have that kind of defense behind me, it's awesome.
And I know when we talked yesterday, you said when you're in the zone, you're making eye contact with all your teammates across the field. How did that feel today, knowing that you were performing so well in the circle?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just like feeling each other on the field, looking in their eyes, just knowing that I got their back, they have mine, and that obviously just contributes to my performance today and everybody's.
Carlin, we've learned for this pitching staff, be ready to go when your number is called. When was your number called for this start here today?
Kind of late into the last game that was before us. Just it could really go either way. Me and Peyton could have got the start, so we found out right before the game that was starting. So,
sleeping on knowing that overnight, that's overrated. You're ready to go just with a few minutes. So see, that's just the way it is.
Tell me when to throw the ball. I'll go out there.
And you do it pretty well too, Carlin.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
Carlin Pickens getting the win for Tennessee. Tennessee and Virginia, Game 1 winners. They'll match up tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. For Madison Shipman, our entire crew, I'm Eric Freed. Thanks for being with us for Day 1. We'll see you Saturday here in Knoxville. Her first pitch to Kiki Malloy. Strike one. Malloy struck out in the first, popped out in the second, lined out in the fourth. She checked the swing. It's 1-1. Of course, the catcher, Nico Papavasilio, we talked to her yesterday, and she had plenty of great things to say about the pitcher in the circle right now. Called her one of a kind, so passionate as well in the circle. Had the count 1-2.
We got to talk to her really about managing all the different pitchers that they have on this staff, because we talk about it from an offensive standpoint, how difficult it can be to make those in-game adjustments, but you think about it from a catcher perspective too, having to catch a variety of different pitches all within the same game, and also keeping track of the batter's tendencies, what sort of adjustments they're trying to make to the pitching, and keeping up with that constant communication.
Pulls the string, gets Malloy on the strikeout, and you see a little of that passion from Sarah Baylitz.